Six Gun Productions. New media, new rules.
This is Geek News Radio. Broadcast 48 for Sunday, November 12th, 2017. Fungal Warp.
You're listening to Geek News Radio, episode 48. I'm Dave in Birmingham.
I'm Fab in Hamburg.
Woo! We're back after a month off.
Oh, well, long time, yes. Wow. I don't know if I still know how this works.
No, me neither. I had a very relaxing week in the Lake District, and you had like 4 weeks chilling in the south.
I had the best holiday ever. So yeah, I'll talk about that in a bit. But so what are we going to talk about this show? I think we need to talk about all the stuff I've missed. Because I literally didn't look on a website on the internet for all of October.
Sounds fucking brilliant.
It was amazing. So I have no idea. And then I want to talk about Discovery, because stuff happened.
Yeah. We've had 7 episodes now at this point?
I think,
eight. I think the 8th came out yesterday.
I watched that. That was good. And you want to talk about the Orville, I guess?
Yeah, I gave it a go. Okay. I have some
you have
thoughts.
Opinions? Okay, yeah.
Also, Heat Signature came out, which before you went away, you were playing a lot of.
Yes, and I want to do probably a show about that, but we can talk about it a little bit, because it came out when we recorded the last show, but we didn't really...
Yeah, I've played more than the last show, but I don't know.
I think on the last show we didn't play it. I think we recorded that on the day it came out before it was released or something.
Plausible.
I listened to it before this show, so I could I think that's how it worked. Anyway, I think we start with what are we drinking? What are you drinking?
I have, in honor of the creator of Heat Signature, I have an old fashioned made with Jim Beam.
Ah, yeah, that's very Tom Francis. I'm drinking a Earl Grey martini.
Whoa.
This is a drink I picked up. I drank in Brisbane. Mm-hmm. The first day, I think the second day we were in Brisbane. The first day we were completely jet lagged. We went out, and I went to a bar there on South Side in Brisbane, and they had this thing called an Earl Grey martini, and basically it's martini with gin.
Right.
And they used some Spanish gin that's very orangey, that I haven't been able to get my hands on, but I'm using gin Sul because that's very lemony, so it kind of works. And then it has Earl Grey syrup in it, I guess.
Whoa.
So what I do is I make I don't have that. I make a very, very strong Earl Grey.
Okay.
And let it cool and pour that in. And it's brilliant. It's the best martini I've ever had. It's really good. I had 2 while we were there. And it's become one of my favorite drinks ever since.
It sounds really quite strange. I can't imagine what it tastes like.
It's actually basically tastes like a martini with Earl Grey flavor. Well, think
Google
about
will autocomplete the word martini if you type in Earl Grey, which means you're not on something.
No, I think they haven't they didn't invent it or something. I just like Earl Grey, and like martini, so it works. It's imagine you'd use when you use bitters, you'd use Earl Grey bitters basically.
Okay.
So that's what it takes.
According to the BBC Food website, which is apparently your source of all cocktail information.
Apparently.
Take some gin and some Earl Grey tea and some lemon juice, some sugar syrup. This says it's one of those ones where it uses half a free-range egg white.
Yeah, no, I don't think they put that in.
Enough of these cocktails with their fucking egg whites.
Yeah, I know.
Stuffed.
They might have put in some sugar there, but it works without. And I think if you use that gin, I have to look up the name. I wrote it down somewhere. It's like a Spanish gin. 16-year-old, I think it was.
Orange gin.
No, I think it was like, what is it called? The Spanish gin.
There are lots of Spanish gins, it would turn out.
So, yeah, apparently.
Whoa.
I think.
How do I say, buy all of them, deliver them to my house?
I think it was 16-year-old. Like, I don't know how that works for gin, but I think that's what they said. God, what? Well, I wrote it down somewhere. I'll have to. Well, I think it's in my. Let me see. Gotta be in my moleskin somewhere. Larios, it's called. Larios 12-year-old. Larios. Oh God.
It's real.
My fireworks died. I'm not having a good day. Like, I spilled my first drink over my computer.
Yeah, and then before that you had a power cut.
Yeah,
it's been suboptimal.
The neighbors drilled into a power line, I think. Yeah,
did that sound like bzz, bang, and then
no, just the light went light. Like, I heard them drilling it, then light went out, and then they weren't drilling anymore. So I think it's that. Yeah. So
Womdog, have you checked they're okay?
No, I put the power back on because I wanted the podcast. Do I have to check if they're okay? Is that like illegal?
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
It didn't occur to me.
Would I check my neighbors? I don't know.
I don't even know which neighbors it are. Like, these walls, or like one of the problems here. I've been putting lights up, and there's like I've ruined like 3 drill bits in the ceiling because it's like steel concrete, reinforced concrete. It's like you need like diamond drills or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, where was I? So this martini is amazing. Oh, you know what I didn't do?
What?
Didn't start a stopwatch. I knew I'd forgotten something we usually do. Yeah. So this is all over the place. I learned again. I knew this was in Linux Outlaws. We made this experience with Linux Outlaws. If you stop podcasting for a month, you forget all about it. All about how you do anything. So that's the reason why I just keep on podcasting usually. Dave, we can never stop again.
We can never stop.
I've
no
got
more stopping.
Kind of a stopwatch on this recorder. We started like 20 seconds after I started, I think so. So that would be okay. Speaking of Linux Outlaws, when we were in Brisbane, I met up with longtime LO listener Russell Dickinson.
Oh wow!
Who lives in Brisbane and who'd always said, well, if you're over there, we should catch up. And we went over there and we did, and it was nice. We had a burger and
sweet
talked things. It was cool. And then he completely he turned weird.
He turned weird.
Well, he said when we shook hands when we were leaving, he said he really liked it, and I was always one of his heroes.
Whoa,
and,
no!
It just I didn't even recognize. It just went right past my brain. I was like, yeah, cool. And then when we were going home, Katie's like, that's really weird when people say that to you. I'm like, you're right. That is weird. I can't be somebody's hero. I'm just getting drunk.
I hope I'm never someone's hero, because that's fucking terrible.
Yeah, no, I'm just getting drunk and recording it on for the internet. That's not
why are they aspiring to be like you or me?
I hope they're not.
Don't aspire to be podcasters.
They'll be hopelessly alcoholic. You know, when you were talking about that egg white drink, I was remembering that in my first, when I moved out, I've moved into student accommodation, in Bonn, uni. What do you call that?
We call them halls, student halls.
Yeah, except it wasn't it was my own flat, very small. But one of the posters I had on the wall was the periodic system of drinks. It was like a periodic table of the elements, but instead of elements, there were all like different drinks and like grouped by like highballs and
That's really cool.
shit.
There's a like a series of maps people do. They're like the underground maps, like the London Underground maps, except they're for like pubs.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
And there's one in Sheffield that's like you take a road, and then it's all the pubs on that road, and then how they all link up.
Oh god,
and that's really cool. I never got one because I was like, man, I want to get this framed properly. So now I feel like I could probably realistically put it on walls.
yeah, we need one for Hamburg. I don't know if there's one. I've been putting I put like pictures up. Got the Dark Angels thing. I got the badders, like, you know, the display up over.
And you
my
got the
desk.
Flesh Terrors guy as well.
Yeah, that's over. The Flesh Terror hangs over the hobby table, which is in a usable state right now. So I could paint.
This means that you have about a month to do all your.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. I don't think we'll finish the thing in December, but like we'll talk about that later about the next Vorfeldherren thing. But yeah, and I've got Azrael and the display with like the Dark Angels over my desk. And the best thing I ever did, I think, I bought like guitar holders for the wall. Oh, you know, where you put the guitars up on, and they're like right next to me on the wall right now, and they look so good.
Yes,
like,
I always wanted one of those. Like when I used to play my guitar a lot more. Like
I'm not playing it, but like a Telecaster looks bloody good as a wall.
It does, yeah. Every time I look at my guitar, I'm like, man, I need to change the strings. I need to clean things. Like it looks, God, it looks like a fucking mess.
You know what? I bought a ukulele.
Oh yeah,
because
you said that you wanted to learn some Sabaton on it or something.
Well, yeah. So let's get into the holiday thing, right? So we went to Australia, and basically we flew over to Brisbane, and we drove up the coast, which is what we did like 11 years ago now. We didn't have as much time as back then. We had months back then, so we just we went up to Early Beach and then back down. But we did all the stuff that we couldn't like pay for when we were students. So we did like a helicopter flight. We did like a sailing tour on like 70-year-old ship around the Whitsundays, like a wooden sailing boat. That was great. Did some amazing stuff. Looked for like Katie wanted to see kangaroos in the wild, like koalas, because she had never seen koalas in the wild. Even when we were over there back then, we found some. We were at like this campsite where they basically it's like a kangaroo sanctuary, like a private one. They basically raise kangaroos whose mother's been killed, joeys, and they have all like these 80 joeys running around. They're really not like, they're not fenced in or whatever, but they always come back because they get free food and stuff. So you're like on a campsite, and you got like in the morning, you like open your camper van. Like we would drive around with like a camper van, right? And you'd open the camper van, you'd like basically have kangaroos jumping in. That was cool. But then, you know, Australia was great. And I know Australia was a lot of fun. And I met my mate from school, Ryan, who I haven't, like last time we saw them, he had like one kid that was just born, and now she was like 11 years old.
Wow.
And I like felt really old. And now he's got like 3 kids, whatever. And we hang out a bit. I visited my old school in Gympie. That was cool. And then we drove back to Brisbane, and then we flew over to Fiji. It was only 8 days, and like the rest of the month was Australia, but it like Fiji kind of overshadowed everything. My God,
you seemed chill.
It's heaven on earth. Basically, I've realized that I've never, like, since I started working for Heise, I've been never without stress, and I didn't know that. Like no, you laugh, but like this is really bad, I think. Because even when I thought I wasn't stressed, I was basically stressed.
Right.
Because on this holiday, I didn't look at the internet. Like, I didn't really, like, we had Wi-Fi at some camping place, but I on purposely didn't buy a SIM card, whatever. And, like, you got a free SIM card on Fiji, but I didn't take that because I didn't want it. And I wasn't, like, for the first time, I felt what, like, the absence of stress felt like. This was really good. And Fiji is beautiful. You'd hate it.
It looked quite warm.
Yeah, it's like so the average temperature in winter is 28 degrees.
That is exactly 28 degrees too many.
And in summer it's like 31. So basically it doesn't change.
That's not such a bad swing. I was expecting.
Well, it gets humid in the summer though. It'd be way too humid for you, I think.
Man, today it's been like 6 in Birmingham, and it's been fucking glorious.
It's really cold here. I really hate it now. It's like
yesterday I saw people pouring water on their car door handles to unfreeze them, and I was like, "Yes, winter, lads."
Yeah, you wouldn't say that if you ride around on a motorbike. Oh God. No, I would have loved to stay in Fiji. Like the water's 26. It's so good. It's amazing. You would have died. Like we saw, like, you meet. There's actually not. Well, there's tourists there, but like there's only like Australians and New Zealanders that go there because it's so far away, and everybody else just like on world tours. Like they come from whatever, I don't know, the Philippines or whatever. Yeah, something like that. And I saw like on the one place where we saw like this ginger English girl. And she was like stereotypically, she was very cute, but she was like ginger and like completely like pale.
Yeah.
And she was like burned red to a lobster like in half a day. And it wasn't even in the sun. It was like, I was thinking of you. Meanwhile, I actually didn't get that tan because we used like 50 factor, like sunscreen factor, like
very sensible
50 whatever, but like I was getting close to getting burned and stuff. Like, oh, Dave would so die here.
I got a sunburn in like cloudy English autumn, let alone fucking Fiji.
Well, yeah, in Australia you get summer when it's cloudy as well. Like I'll slather on the 50 whatever when it's cloudy as well. But oh God, and it's Fiji is so beautiful. Like we were in Australia and we're going to Fiji, and the Australians were like, "You love it." They're the nicest people in the world. And I turned to Kate and said, like, "This is Australians saying this."
It's literally any other country other than Australia.
No, they were like, Australians are really, really nice, but like Fijians are like, it's unbelievable. So I thought it was like a touristy kind of thing they put on, but it's not. Like but it starts, you arrive at the airport and you're like, like the passport line, which is usually hell. It's like grim. It's like, in the UK, it's the worst thing ever. It's like these grim people. Yeah, officers looking at you. In Australia, it's pretty bad because they're deathly afraid you get some organisms in, like all these
trees in that had a fungus in it that then destroys the world.
On Fiji, there's next to the line. There's 3 guys. They're like 3. They're not really, they're not fat. You know how they like Samoan Islanders. They're always like, they're not fat. They're just like chunky. You know what I mean?
Okay. Got some big lads.
Big lads, yeah. They weren't like they're like just like The Rock basically without muscles, but still like And they're like 3 big guys, 2 with a guitar, 1 with a ukulele, and they're playing like these welcome songs.
Oh,
and
God, like fuck yeah.
And then you go out so that you arrive on the big island. There's a big island in Fiji, and there you stay there for a night basically, and then you go on like a catamaran that goes around all the little islands. It's like a bus. It goes around the whole day and then goes back, and it doesn't stop where the resorts are. It just stops in front. Doesn't even drop anchor, and they come like with little boats and pick you up.
Whoa! And
then you go towards the beach, and then there's like the people working at the resort. They're on the beach like with GNR whatever, and they're like it's like this song. It's called Bula Malaya. And it's like Bula Malaya Keviti Taliga. It's really fun. They're really nice. They're so nice.
Like this boat trip aspect sounds grand. I'd be well up for this boat trip.
Well, the thing is, we went to 2 islands, to 2 different resorts. The second one was like a really, really, really posh, and it was like, they had like 3-course dinners, and it was fucking amazing. And it's not really expensive because like the Fiji dollar is like 60 cents or whatever. So euro cents, it's like nothing. And it was really great. But the first one we went to was even better. It was an island. It's called, oh God, it went right out of my head. Ah, God, why have I forgotten?
Solevu.
You're looking at Fiji.
I'm looking at just how many islands there are.
So there's the big island. That's where Nandi is. That's the capital is Suva, but everybody lands in Nandi because that's where the international airport is. Mm-hmm. We went to the Yasawa. So there's a other big island up top, Vanuatu, and there's like a group of small islands up north. They're called the Yazavas, and basically this catamaran goes along those islands. And we went to Wea Lailai, it's called. It's like there's Wea, Wea Island. Mm-hmm. I think on Google Maps it says the small one says it's called Wea Sewa, but the resort is called Wea Lailai. And they're really nice. So it's the only resort on Fiji that's owned by the people that live on the island.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's a bit more.
Sounds dangerously like socialism.
You know that today's like when we record this, we're recording this on the 7th of November. Today is 100th year anniversary of the October Revolution.
It is, and there is just not a big fuss about it, surprisingly.
And I'm wearing Lenin's hat. It's also Trotsky's birthday, which is
it
weird? Yeah.
Was that planned? Was that just an accident?
I don't think so. Trotsky was definitely one of the guys who said we need to do this now. The Bolsheviks were kind of divided.
Yeah, now for my birthday.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look this up. I'm actually like the thing I did on Fiji was like this is like so me. Kati was laughing at me all the time. So guess what book I've been reading on my Kindle?
Is it a book of Russian history?
Yes, it's a biography of Stalin.
Oh, happy days!
It's actually really, really good. So it's really new. It's like so I think he's writing 3 parts, and the second one just came out. But I'm like I'm on the first one, and I'm like at 40. Well, I'm looking this up. So it's called Stalin: Paradoxes of Power by Stephen Kotkin, as a U.S. historian, and I'm like on 40%, which is page 527.
Wow!
So this book has 914 pages. I read like 400 pages of this.
This is like when you
on the holiday.
Read Kershaw's Hitler, isn't it? That's like 1,000 pages long.
So I'm like on this beautiful Waialailai island, like, and it's amazing. It's like they have like coral reefs. They have the most amazing water, like this green blue water. It's my favorite color. That when you have these holiday brochures, I think all those pictures of like the lonely islands with the palm trees, they're all in Fiji. It's so beautiful. And then it's like there's the beach, and then there's literally coconut palms. There's what they're called? Oh God, my brain's fucked. The swinging things that you lie in.
Yeah.
What they're called? Hammocks. There's hammocks under coconut trees, and then there's little rides, and there's like little houses, and that's where we were. And so I'm lying in the hammock, and I'm like reading Stalin, and it was so good. It was unbelievably. Fiji, it's so beautiful. It's like it's literally heaven on earth. It's oh God, so good. And then the people are really nice, and so good. If you ever can get to Fiji, unless you're Dave and you don't like warm climes, go there. So good. Nice. So there's an island called Castaway Island, and that's where they filmed Castaway, the movie.
Cool.
So it's
like a lovely time.
It's so good. The people are so nice. So we had like these like cleaning ladies, and she basically became our best friend. Like Katie was running. Katie loves mangoes, and they have like mangoes and pawpaws everywhere. And so Katie was like picking up mangoes and eating them. She sees it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I like mangoes." Katie's like, "I love mangoes," and she was like, every day she was bringing Katie mangoes. It's like, "I'll get you some mangoes." She goes like to a young guy who was like lying in shit. Let's like, oh, what is this, like in Fiji, whatever, go get her mangoes. So he was like climbing up to the mango trees and like throwing stuff at the at the mangoes and getting them down, and
I'm looking at photos of this and it just looks like unreal.
It is so beautiful. It is unreal.
These photos are clearly tweaked in Photoshop. Nothing's that nice. Nowhere's that blue.
So if you go to Google Maps, right, and you look at Wayasewa Island,
yeah,
right, zoom in and then turn on like satellite view, and see where it says Waialailai Eco Haven. See the color of the water? Yeah, that's literally the color of the water. Oh. It's so good. Like we went with the guys. They have guys there, and we went like snorkeling with them, with sharks. Whoa. And there's a reef. Actually, you can see it on Google Maps. Like if you go out, if you go to the west, pretty much straight to the west, there's like a little reef there. And so they drive you out with a boat, and the most amazing is like in the middle of the way they dropped this one guy off with just a spear. Okay. And then we drove there, and then basically one guy jumps in like with a spear, dives down, kills a fish, chops it up, puts it under stones at the bottom, and then like all these fish come because like all this stuff floats up like from the dead fish, and then like reef sharks arrive. We had like 3 reef sharks. And you could like snorkel with them. It was amazing. So we did that for like an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever. And then we're going back, and they pick up this guy who's been in the water for like 2 hours. He's just like with his spear and like a line with like 8 fish. Nice. He's like caught meanwhile. I have no idea how they know where they dropped him off. Oh, so good. And then we went to visit. They have a village. Yeah. The resort obviously is like as I said, it provides kind of like for the village, and they from that money they've been able to like build a school in the village, and it's really nice, really cool, really nice people. Oh God. So good. I want to go back there. I was like actually contemplating to just stay there. I was like, work remotely. No, not work. I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna just stay here. Like if Katie hadn't been there, I might have just like done it, because I was like, fuck it. They're never gonna find me. Like, nobody cares. It's like 30 nautical miles from the main island, right? This country had like a military like putsch like a few years ago. It's like they don't have like the bureaucracy isn't really that like they're never gonna find me if I can just live there and like maybe teach them something or like help out in a sort of like
working as like for their government cybersecurity or something. Yeah, fuck it. That'd be like a thing on the news being like German journalist goes missing in Fiji. Yeah, last spotted. Fuck him at the airport.
Fuck him. I'm just gonna stay here. Yeah, I was actually contemplating. It's so nice. Yeah, and so I came home and I bought a ukulele because it's really awesome. It's easier to play than a guitar.
You're not wrong. They are exactly 2 strings easier.
And the good thing is like I bought a Fender one, and they have like a Tele headstock. They're really cool.
I've got to look this up. This sounds ridiculous.
So Fender Zoomer. Google Fender Zoomer uke.
Oh my god, they have. Oh my god, they have headstock. That's ridiculous.
It's nice. So I bought a mounting for that as well. I put it in the hallway.
That's really cool. I went to the Lake District for
how was that? Colder, I'm guessing.
It was cold and it rained for pretty much all the time, but it's kind of in a place called the Lake District, you kind of expect it to be damp, and it was. And I basically I went on walks to appease various people. But I've read loads of books. I'm now on book 7 of 8 of the Laundry Files. That stuff. The series I started in Scotland. I was like, you know what? I'll just read like 1 or 2 books and see how it is.
Didn't you recommend that to Katie?
I did.
What was the other one you recommended?
Oh God, what was it?
Was it like The Rivers of London?
Oh yeah, The Rivers of London.
She really loved that. She read like 8 books of those.
Nice. Ellie's super into The Rivers of London. I've got to read it. Except that, like, I'm just like, oh man, I could just read more Laundry Files.
Yeah, I think she started on that. She didn't. She preferred The Rivers of London. I think it's something
weird
about the way it's written.
like the first book is kind of strange. The first book is more of a short story in the Laundry Files, and then it kind of like the second book is like a proper kind of actual like novel length. But yeah,
Katie's just been reading me parts of like The Rivers of London. She's like, "This is adorable. This is so British."
It's really good. Yeah, I get the same thing when Ellie's reading. I got all like the funny bits, just like read this paragraph, and like okay. So yeah, I was kind of did that. Went on walks. I took my Switch. Ended up not playing it because it was too nice. Like
I know what you mean.
It was just we were kind of like in the middle of nowhere. It was pretty good. Like literally no fucking phone signal.
That's
Scotland. We had like enough to send a text message.
You know what the amazing thing about Fiji is? They don't have like wired internet.
Okay.
Like the place where we were, they only had like wireline. They only have like power in the evening when they turn the generators on.
Whoa.
But they all have like mobile phones and Facebook because they have better 4G than Hanover.
Nice.
It's like 4G is perfect there.
I suppose if you're like installing the 4G infrastructure, it's a lot easier.
Well, they're like really small
if you're
islands.
upgrading an existing.
I think they have just like it's like Lost. They have just one radio tower on top of like a mountain. So it's like the whole island.
I wonder if they've also got geography on their side as well.
Yeah, I think because it's like these islands are just like the smaller ones next to the main island are just like reef islands. But those are like they're volcanic islands and they just have basically one peak in the middle and everybody lives around the edge like where the beach is.
Yeah, that makes sense. Other than that, man, like I've been painting a fuckload of Warhammer.
What? For your
oh god, no, not even for that.
Okay, you paint other Warhammer as much as you like, mate.
Yeah, oh god. Basically, like the only thing I got left on that is tanks, and I was like looking at them and crying, going, "Oh, I don't want to paint them. They're so much effort."
Tanks are the best.
Oh god, I find them
really easy to paint.
Yeah, I don't
get a big brush.
I don't agree. I don't know. I'm just like staring at the thing like Jesus. I'm also right. This is probably like preempting the episode, but I am really fucking regretting all the magnetization that I've done.
I was guessing you get to that point. Didn't I call that at some point? Didn't I say?
You did. So on the infantry, where I'd like magnetized, like, man, what if I wanted to change literally all the arms? I played like a game with them, and they fall off whenever you move them. So what I've done is I've glued lots of them together again. And now I'm kind of doing the same thing with my tanks, because I've got my amazing Vindicator, which you can turn from a Rhino into Vindicator. And it's got magnetized headlamps, because that's a thing you have to do, otherwise it won't work. And I played with that on the weekend, and it just kept falling off. I'm like, fuck it. Like, honestly, it's not... I've spent, like, more time, like, faffing with the magnetization than I have would be just to buy another fucking tank and do it. So I'm very much considering just gluing those again. And just calling it, like, fuck it, we'll have loads of tanks rather than just some tanks that transform. Yeah, that's fun. Should we do some more topics? Because we got, like,
topics, and we yeah. Oh, yeah. So while I was not on the internet, what happened?
So Trump continues to be shit.
Okay, yeah, that's
Hollywood shit. Everyone in Hollywood.
Oh, so is that all the having sex with like kids?
Yeah. Just stop. Just
sexual assault shit.
Everyone could just stop that.
Well, that isn't a surprise.
I mean,
wasn't that in what game was that? LA Noire? Is that LA Noire
LA Noire,
where that's this case where like everybody in Hollywood's like casting couch bullshit.
I don't remember. Oh God, what else? We've had more Brexit bamps over here. Basically, we've got like many reports on how crap Brexit will be.
It's really cool when you're like when you're somewhere with British people, like on Fiji, and they get really uppity.
Mm-hmm.
You only have to mention Brexit, make some joke about Brexit, and they shut up immediately.
Yeah. It's great. The government won't publish those papers. What else we had? Turns out the Conservative Party also are abusing loads of people. That's grand. God. Also, like, everyone is evading tax in the UK, including the Queen.
The Queen has to pay taxes?
That was my point. It's like the royal family is somehow using like offshore accounts to hide money. I'm like, but you're the Queen. Why are you paying tax?
Yeah. What?
I didn't think you pay tax. What is this? That's pish. But I think the most important story, because we always cover these things, is Wi-Fi's fucked.
It's the KRACK thing, right?
It's not just fucked. It's got a website and a name. It's called KRACK Attack, which is the stupidest fucking name for a vulnerability
KRACK Attack. I have no idea what this is about. The only thing I know is somebody tweeted at me when I was in Australia, and I'm like, fuck, mate, I don't give a fuck. I'm off to Fiji. Good luck with that.
Basically, every Wi-Fi access point, pretty much. No, that's a lie. Lots of Wi-Fi access points, and basically every sort of Wi-Fi stack on an operating system was vulnerable to basically just being exploited. There are like, it's not just one exploit. There's like a series of them. But the key thing is the 4-way handshake that you do initially. It's kind of flawed, which is kind of weird because people thought it had been sort of been mathematically proven. You know, like it was proved to be a secure protocol. But basically, it's kind of classic integration versus unit tests, where like these components work on their own, but not in practice when you connect them together. And various bits in the kind of Wi-Fi standard that were published sort of had shitty pseudocode that people copied and then didn't work. So basically, the kind of keys that your access point and device end up agreeing on using can kind of be either on Android. I think you could force it to be 0 rather than having an actual key, and sometimes you could force it to reuse the key. So basically, you could just decrypt things over just the network, which is kind of shit. I think Microsoft had already patched it. Linux was kind of balked. Android is well fucked. Generally.
Of course it is.
It is fixed on later Androids, just like earlier Androids, and Android on like old phones that don't get updates is perpetually fucked. Routers are affected sometimes, and we all know that routers regularly get patched. That's definitely happens. So yeah, Wi-Fi is kind of fucked. It was a fun time when everyone was just sort of going, "Oh Jesus Christ, it's all broken." It's kind of died down. I think people are trying to patch it, but I don't know. I think just everyone's kind of
given
accepted. Up. Yeah, given up because like there is so many things that are broken that will never get patched.
It's 2017. It's just give up. It's like
I'm like looking at my router that I literally just got for this like massive internet connection, going, is this fucked? It's like, do I have to buy any? Do I have to go out get a router and put like Open WRT or something on it to guarantee not being as shit? Which I mean, I probably should do, to be quite honest. That happened. I don't think you can buy a T-shirt, which is really sad. Like, I wanted to get like
KRACK Attack, like in the like 80s, you know, the
like the 80s kind of like Thor poster, the kind of like that. I wanted to get one of those.
By the way, like Oh, sorry. Let's just finish this. I'll hold this thought.
Because I think like the Bluetooth one, you could get a T-shirt of that one, but they're not monetizing it.
I have a Heartbleed T-shirt.
Yeah, like there was the Heartbeat T-shirts. I've seen people in the real world wearing those. Like, why can't I get a KRACK Attack one? And like I think the only thing of note that like made me think about stuff the other day. was in the sort of month off, like one of my favorite podcasts is called Midnight Resistance finished. Like they'd always planned on it finishing around now because like one of the guys have a kid. And the other day I got like my t-shirts from them because they did this kind of thing with like, this is your last chance to buy t-shirts if you want them. And they came in the post the other day. I was thinking, man, that's really weird. What happens when podcasts go away? And like, I don't know. It's making me feel all nostalgic about.
We need a t-shirt before we go away.
We do. Well, that's the thing. You know that if we don't make a t-shirt, then we're not going away, which is fun. But I was kind of like reminiscing of like all the random old podcasts that are dead, like Linux Outlaws. My God, Linux Outlaws,
which had a t-shirt.
Which had a t-shirt, yeah. God, that like this is like a weird old one, but there's this thing called MOG. It was called like Massively Online Gamer, and they had like 99 episodes, and they always planned on their 100th episode to be a 24-hour live stream. And this was before streaming was a thing, and they didn't realize. I don't think they really fully realized how much of massive faff it would be, and like the kind of planning for the 100th episode killed the podcast.
That's
like
good.
they're like, oh, we can't do the 100th episode yet. So it just died.
Awesome.
It was ridiculous. Yeah, so I was kind of really sad that Midnight Resistance went away. But like, if you want like a couple of like 100 episodes of like top quality, funny lads talking about video games, which is literally all podcasts, go listen to that.
Oh, good podcast. Yeah, so it just reminded me with the Thor thing. You know, I was flying to Hamburg to Dublin, Hamburg to Dubai, which is 6 hours, and then Dubai to Brisbane, which is 14 hours on a A380, which is a nice plane, by the way.
You could listen to one episode of Geek News Radio in that time.
You could, or you could watch like a hell of a lot of movies, which I did. And one of those which I watched and annoyed half the plane was what's wrong with my brain?
Baby Driver.
No, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yeah.
And it's so good. I laughed my ass off. It's so funny. It's so good.
Now we've both watched them. Like, I didn't like 2 as much as I like 1 at all.
It's so good. Like, the way
here's the thing. Like it's if they were like entirely independent films, and like, you know, I'd never seen 1 and I saw 2, I'd be like, holy shit, this is hilarious and great. But I saw 2 and thought, like the whole plot, spoilers for an old film, the plot that his dad is the bad guy is like so clearly signposted.
Yeah, but he's
perfect. Ooh, look at him being wonderful.
No,
like, I just
he's got ego. I mean, come on.
Yeah, like I just felt like there was no kind of interesting kind of like story arc there. Like, oh, he's gonna do some sort of magic. He's gonna play baseball with the weird alien shit.
It's Kurt Russell.
Yeah,
he's so good.
I thought like the soundtrack, which was such a big thing from the first one, it wasn't as strong as the first one.
No, it was great. So, the way it starts, like the intro with Groot dancing.
Yeah,
oh my
Baby
God,
Groot,
so
I will
good.
give you, is like a
so
flagship.
Good. So good.
Yeah. And that's kind of like what people are saying about Thor Ragnarok, is that it's really good and really funny.
Thor. What's the guy with the mohawk? He was so good.
The guy with the
with the flying thing.
Oh God!
Kills everybody.
He's the one that I always confuse with
whatever his name is. He was so good. The whole thing, like that other race where they have all these spaceships, and you figure out it's just VR, and it's like you figure out it's like they're just playing a video game basically.
Yondu.
Oh, Yondu's so good. And
of course.
And then
Yondu.
when they're playing the video game, when basically they have all these attack ships and they get destroyed, and then you figure out that they're just like in VR booth.
Yeah, the golden
so
people.
Good. That was all of it was good. All of it was good. And then the end where he goes, your Warpman got destroyed. I got you this thing. It's called a Zune. Yes. I was literally ruffling on the plane. I had to. Oh, it was so good.
Oh, I'm glad you liked a Marvel film.
It's a Zune. It's like, how the hell? That's the best thing ever. Like, it's like a fucking Zune. Nobody's seen a Zune in like 10 years. It's called a Zune. It fits like 300
That was the kind
songs.
of thing. Like, I was like, man, like there are kids watching this and they don't fucking get that, right? It's ridiculous.
So good. There's Bautista was so good.
As Drax.
He's a good actor. Bloody hell, he's become a good actor.
Here's a really good thing about that is that I identified with Drax a lot. When he talked about not dancing.
Yeah.
I was like, he was like, I do not dance. And I was like, never has a character spoke so like to my soul of like, I do not dance. Yeah, I get that. I don't dance. This guy gets me.
That's exactly how I felt. I love like in the beginning in the intro fight where he's like in the monster and he tries to kill it from inside and like Quill goes, isn't the skin as thick on the inside? And then like what's her name kills the monster. And then he comes out and he's like, I killed it! I'm amazing!
He's like adorable in like a early terror.
I love that movie. It was so good. That I watched that. And on the way back, because I'd seen all the movies, they had Taboo, so I watched Taboo again.
Nice.
All the way through. So good. So where were we?
You've also watched Schleifert.
No, I played through it. You know how we had that?
Oh, sorry, sorry. My brain is like...
No, we have the same problem.
I was imagining just Deep Space Nine in German. Not Deep Space Nine. Oh my... Yeah, pretty much. I was imagining Deep Space Nine in German.
No, it's a submarine game, remember?
I know! I'm sorry.
So I played that through before we left.
Yeah.
And since I've come back, I've finished Equinox.
Yeah, is it as good as you remember?
Schleichfort was better than I remember. Equinox is it's a bit shit. Everything about it's a bit shit.
Oh dear.
But it's still, I love it because it's a sequel. And now I've started to play Equinox 2, which isn't the same thing because it has another main character. But I want to finish all of this in preparation for Equinox Revelation coming out.
Fair.
Which is actually a reboot because the guy who wrote the stories for Schleichfahrt and Equinox, Equinox 2 has died. Helmut Halfmann, I think in 2009. Actually, before I read the Stalin book, he after Equinox he wrote a novel which we didn't finish. It's called Das Höllenmeer.
What does that mean?
The Sea of Hell.
That's fucking banging name.
Ocean of Hell. It's a good book. It isn't finished, but it's great. It's like people are being killed. They have like cockroach hormones in their brains. It's he was a messed up guy. So that was good. It's just like that whole story with like, so basically if you don't remember, so the premise of Schleichfahrt and Equinox is like nuclear war, whatever, has devastated Earth. And basically the surface of the Earth is uninhabitable, like sea levels have risen. And now everybody...
2017.
Yeah, a bit worse though. Everybody's living under the sea and the sea's covered by this like 40 meters of like dead matter from the nuclear wars, and you can't get through that, and everything above that is radiated anyway. So the mankind is living under the sea, and it's very grim and amazing. And I love this story, and I've been, I don't know, it's kind of given me the idea of a novel.
Oh, do a NaNoWriMo.
Well, no, I would like to write a novel, and I have an idea, but I don't know when. I think I need to move to Fiji.
For a year. Move to Fiji and start working on your book.
Write a novel.
Because last time we talked about that, I remembered Project Eden, the game, which I talked about last time. I played a bit of that again, and it is not as good in any way. The writing's terrible. The voice acting's terrible. The gameplay's fucking terrible.
With Equinox, the voice acting was shit, but I knew that.
I'm sorry to the developers at Core Design in the year 2001 for Corneo game shit.
Well, Schleichfahrt was amazing. The thing is, it was really hard. So basically, I couldn't I'm shit at video games. About a third through the game, like the missions become too hard that I can play them.
Yeah.
Because it's a really old video game.
Yeah.
There's like a game called whatever ship named that for every ship in the game. So you just open the file of the current ship you're like piloting.
Okay.
And you just set like your hull like from 9,000 to like 9 million.
Nice.
And nothing can hurt you anymore. It still gets hard like when there's missions where you have to like protect somebody. So at one point I had to like, there was like one kind of NPC ship. I had to like fix the hull as well. I had to roll it back because I had to destroy these ships as well. But like, so I had to hopelessly cheat. Then with Equinox, I was like, I can't, like, I don't really want to. Like, Schleichfahrt has like joystick control, and Equinox is like, that's one of the things that was shit. It was like kind of freelancer mouse control thing, and the joystick control is horrible. It doesn't actually work with modern mice, so I'm like, because the DPI rate and the refresh rate is too high. Luckily, I have this gaming MOBA mouse from whatever Logitech.
Oh, so you can whack down.
Yeah, I could whack it down. So that kind of worked, but it wasn't usable really. Like I couldn't hit like fast moving ships and like, fuck this. Luckily, Equinox is from an era of gaming where they had like command line parameters where you can just go F. You put like, so you start it with the command line parameters red rum Stendek. I don't know why. And then you can go like F7 and you're invincible. F8 you're invisible. And then if you target an enemy and like push F9, it just explodes. So I'm like, go to hell. Go to F9, F9. Yeah, I'm Emerald Deadeye Flint. You're going to hell. So it was fun. The voice acting in Equinox is totally overdone, but it is like you have these wingmen, right. Except they're called wings because it's like a German thing, and they can't like literally wings, and they can't do English. I don't know why. But there's this one guy who's really great. He's in the novel as well. Shortly, he's called Boston Harper. It's like his wingman, and he's like, they call him Dopamine Harp. He's amazing. He just keeps he starts basically every sentence with "Na was? Scheiß drauf," which is German for "what? Fuck it." Every sentence. It's really it was fun. Anyway, sorry, I was retro.
That's great. Yeah, no, that's fantastic.
I love those games. They're amazing. Somebody has to write a proper novel in that setting.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it's like a really cool kind of setting to explore in a kind of like a Metro 2033-esque kind of.
Yeah, except it's like
everything's gone to shit.
Yeah,
and we're kind of dealing with the consequences in a different world.
It combines like my favorite things, which is post-apocalypse, grim dark, and submarines,
nice.
and the sea.
Thinking of post-apocalypse and grimdark. Apparently, in the new book in the Horus Heresy series, oh god, I'm dying. It's called Ruinstorm.
Of course, it is.
Apparently, in that we find out why the Ultramarines aren't at the Battle of Terror, and I'm very excited.
Because Gilliman had to comb his hair.
He had to take a little 10,000-year nap. I believe is the technical.
Okay.
Reason. No, I don't know. It's kind of cool. I think we should probably read that because it's good.
I'm busy with Stalin. Can you read it and then
I can add it to the pile.
Okay. So the most amazing Warhammer thing. Like I'm reading this Stalin biography, right? And he talks about it's not so much a biography as it's also like geopolitical. Like he explains the whole revolution, everything. You know, it's a lot about other people as well. And there is this bit about a guy I've never heard about, Baron Ungarn Sternberg.
Right.
I'll put a link in the show notes because you'll have to look this up as well while I'm talking about this. Just look at like there's a picture of him on Wikipedia, and just look at his face. And then everything I'll tell you later would make sense. So he was a son of an Austrian noblewoman, and I think a German, like a Baltic German nobleman. So he's a baron. And then he got the idea that he would go to Mongolia and like restore the Khan dynasty with like the I think it's something called the Bokt Gegen. It's some kind of like it's kind of like the Dalai Lama. It's like a Tibetan or like a Buddhism thing in Mongolia.
Yes, right. I know about this guy because he is in one of the laundry file books.
Is he? Well,
yes, he's in the Fuller memorandum. And he does all this stuff for a secret, nefarious, like, occult purpose.
Well, yeah. So I'm reading like this biography, Stalin biography, and this like that's pretty dark as well. You know, Stalin was a bad guy, but it's like this is like complete. It goes completely Warhammer. So they keep talking about this guy who apparently had like this Mongolian cavalry unit. And so he's like riding around, and so he kills guys by cutting their heart out and putting it in skulls and offering it to like the Buddhism gods.
Yeah,
this guy is fucking.
Because I was reading this and we're like, no, this is entirely made up in this book. This is fucking not. No human lived who did these things. And I was like, oh, he did. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
What the hell?
So basically, he's the guy who, unwittingly, by just being crazy, basically handed Mongolia to like the Soviets. But like, so the picture that you see on Wikipedia is like him and like being interrogated by the Soviets. And he was like being interrogated by like political commissars from Soviets, right? And they're like, this guy is fucking mad. And we're talking about political commissars from the Bolsheviks. These are the guys that commissars in like 40K are modeled after. Like they literally poured like turpentine down people's anuses to like torture them. They're like, this guy is. And if you look at him, he's like wearing this Mongolian kaftan like kind of thing. You know, this dress, and he's got like a Russian order of like I think what's that? The Order of Saint Michael or whatever. He's like it was. It's mad. This guy's mad. If you like, this is why I love history. Like sometimes history is better than any novel. Like if you read this shit, it's like fucking mad. Anyway,
God,
all power to the Soviets.
Because we like mentioned games, we may as well just like mention Heat Signature.
Yeah, it's really good.
I've gone like from two extremes. I booted it up and was like, "Fuck this game." I was like, I
think that's what Tom Francis wants.
Yeah, I don't know. So I had the initial kind of thing I always get when literally everyone's telling you play this game, and I'm like, I don't want to play that game. I think that game's terrible. Fuck off, it's awful. No. And I thought, okay, maybe I'm doing that thing I always do. So I installed it and started playing it. It's like, oh my God, like I couldn't control the bloody pod that you're flying around. Like,
yeah, you need to get a hang of that. Yeah.
I just got murdered repeatedly.
Yep.
But I've been like playing a little bit more of it, and actually it's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like I kind of I think it was on the Crate and Crowbar, he said that he got some feedback from someone asking if they could turn permadeath off. And he was like, no, that's kind of a key thing. But also I'm like, can we turn permadeath off, please? Because I'm really bad.
Yeah, but you just get a new character. It's all good.
Yeah, but like you lose the gear. I don't know. I feel, because does it affect your the progress at all? Like your progress to...
No.
Oh
well.
Okay.
I think I want to do a bit about this.
I want to play it more
in a proper episode. We're going to talk about this more, but like very quickly. So basically, you have a character. You do missions, and then you have progress in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a galaxy map, and for your faction, you like liberate space stations.
Yep.
Which then, by doing missions, you do that, and that then gives you like more things to buy in shops.
Mm-hmm.
And your character dying doesn't affect that at all. So that stays. And then the character has a personal mission.
Yeah.
You can get missions in several difficulties, and
I feel like I kind of skipped all the bits that explained this.
I can't do the personal missions. They're way too hard for me. Like I'm not at a point where I can ever do them. I always die doing them. But you can just skip them, like he said on Crate and Crowbar. It's just like people who have a really hard time have like this inbuilt feeling that I need to finish them, but you don't need to. You can just ignore them as well, and you just can like your characters keep on dying. It's okay. I love it. I think it's a really great game. I've been playing it. Like I play lots of other stuff. I've played a lot of Civ lately, Schleichfahrt, Equinox. I've played Stellaris. But I always keep going back to Heat Signature, which I just like play in between.
That's cool.
I think didn't he say that it was more successful than Gunpoint? When Gunpoint was very successful, I think. So I'm really happy for that, because I think he earned that. It took him like 5 years to finish this game. Or something like that. Yeah, it's like as long as Crate and Crowbar's been running, he's been working on that.
Yeah, it's been a very long time, hasn't it, actually?
I think it turned out really well. I really like it.
Yeah, I'm very, like, it's, I don't know, like, I think at some point the mechanics clicked in a kind of, once I kind of, like, listened to more, because it was basically, like, on every podcast they were chatting about it.
Yeah.
But then when Chris, but then when Tom was talking about, like, how he likes to play games, in that he'll happily, like, pause and think about something for ages. Suddenly it dawned on me that I just wasn't pausing enough.
Yeah, you need to pause.
I was just treating it too much like Hotline, because like everyone was giving the comparison. I was like, it's Hotline. I think I even called it Hotline Miami in space. Yeah, and I was treating it in it's like a real time thing. But like that is not at all how you do it. Like, first of all, press Shift and you can pan the camera around. That is very important. And then you can plan things, and suddenly it's like, whoa, okay, this makes sense. This loves Deus Ex. This is like this makes sense.
I don't think it's like Hotline Miami at all. It's not at all. Like, I think it's more like a Paradox grand strategy game where you always pause as well.
Yeah. Like that is a kind of more apt comparison than like.
Which is weird because it's a completely different
because
game.
Because it looks like Hotline Miami.
Yeah, I think lots of people fall in that.
Yeah. We'll play some more and then
we'll talk about it.
Yeah. God. We're racing towards like controversial shit. Like the thing at the bottom of the list is controversial. But I in the last episode, who asked me? Someone asked me about the Orville. I'm gonna go check who asked me about that. I think probably
somebody said we should watch it because we were talking about.
Yes, Custor on Twitter asked if we'd cover the Orville, and we said that we hadn't watched it. I have watched the first 3 episodes. I kind of enjoyed it. Like, I remember seeing the trailer for it when it was announced. There was like, Seth MacFarlane is doing like Galaxy Quest, but again, and didn't really think it would be any good. And I watched the first 3 episodes through various means, because it's not actually available in the UK.
Yeah, that was one of the big problems.
The key thing either. In that, like, I watched them and thought, okay, this is all right, but it was okay. It's fine. Like, there are some interesting bits, and it's kind of like, oh, okay, it's maybe a little bit more Star Trek than the new Star Trek, in that, like, the equivalent of Starfleet are kind of the good guys. It would appear that they do things kind of by the book more than... We'll probably get onto that in a bit. But it kind of felt like, oh man, this is maybe the Star Trek that people wanted, but it's really it's got like loads of jokes. But I kind of like just got left with a feeling that like it's really pleased with itself. Like it does some sort of like, progressive things, and it's like you kind of watch it and go, oh, okay, that's all right. You could have handled that better, but they think they've done it really well. Like they kind of feel like they've done a really good job, and I'm like,
I hate that.
Yeah, so I basically I watched the 3rd episode and then decided acquiring it to watch in the UK was more effort than it's worth. So I've not carried on watching it. So like when it's out in Germany, give it a go. Like I think if you don't like it, you'll know in the first episode.
Well, like people have been saying it's really good and I should watch it. Like my problem is that I usually like Seth MacFarlane's humor doesn't gel with me. Like I'm not a Family Guy guy, an American dad. It's not my type of humor. I don't think it's bad. It's just not my type of humor.
Yeah, I think it's also that I'm like kind of I feel like I've done his kind of humor. Like I watched quite a fair bit of like American Dad.
So you cut out there. You watched Family Guy, is that?
Yeah, I've watched Family Guy and some American Dad, and I'm like, I feel like I've kind of like fully explored his kind of repertoire of comedy. It's all kind of I get it now. Like I can kind of see the jokes. Like, okay, he's gonna make that joke, and then it's not my kind. Like people can watch it, and like I don't think it's bad, but it's just not for me. And I'm not going to give it more time than like 3 episodes because Jesus, something doesn't grab you in like 2 hours. It's probably not going to grab you like at all, really.
You're like Tom Francis.
Oh God, no.
So we should then talk about Discovery, I think.
I really like Discovery. I would like to preempt you I like it in a way that I think makes you really not like it.
Okay.
I am really enjoying watching it, but I am watching it in a kind of like I have entirely accepted that it isn't in any way related to the rest of Star Trek and that the science is bollocks.
So I'm with you there because even before I left for Fiji, when I'd seen like 3 or 4 episodes, I wrote a lot of stuff about this for Heise. And so one thing I said is like, this is really good, but you basically need to have a moratorium on like this being, even if they say so, this being at all part of the same universe as like the other, canonical timeline Star Trek stuff, because that doesn't make any sense. It like from the looks of it, this being 10 years before Kirk and parallel to the Cage, I mean, we talked about this, doesn't make any sense. So just forget about that. If you accept that, actually, my point was this is like really good because, I love Next Generation. I really like Deep Space Nine. I also liked Voyager to some extent. But one thing this does, it gets rid of like the embarrassing things about the 90s that were in those series.
What do you mean? Like, what are they getting rid of? Like
It's just like they were very 90s. Like from everything was like the uniforms, the way the acting worked, the way they framed the scenes. This is modern. They obviously watched The Expanse. I mean, there's blue, like in latest episode, there was like blue stuff flying around. It was so proto-molecule. It was unbelievable. It's like the graph boots, the way they work, where they put the heel down. I mean, it's so. This is modern TV, which is great, and just accept that, and you're gonna be happy.
Okay. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah,
he's playing the ukulele.
Behind the scenes, we had a little break to grab some drinks, and I brought the ukulele.
So I'm kind of watching it. Like there are definitely flaws. Like I'm not.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like I mean.
So let's talk flaws. So what I think. So some flaws is like the uniforms look hideous. Let me just go. You can go with your flaws. They obviously, like, you can see, like, if you watch the intro, which has still the music shit, except for the last 10 seconds when it inexplicably turns good, you can see that there's, like, more executive producers than there's actors. Mm-hmm. And it's, I think they revamped the whole show before they released it. Probably very closely before, because like in some episodes there's hideous cuts in there. There's like one I don't know what episode it was, when they're in the shuttle and there's 2 people talking to each other in the shuttle, and you see the face of the one guy. It cuts to somebody, he says something very shortly, cuts back to the original guy, and suddenly like he sits in a completely different position, like his hands in his face. Like, how did he get his hand up there in a second? That's not like, there's obvious like cutting mistakes, which I think they've recut a lot of stuff. So that's what are your flaws?
Oh, you've not mentioned the tardigrades.
Oh God, stop with the tardy. So, Okay, so the tardigrades thing, that was ridiculous. So they have this thing, which is apparently a tardigrade. So then they go on in this episode and say, well, this creature's like a tardigrade. And science knows that tardigrades can do horizontal gene transfer. No, they can't. There was one paper in, I think, was it 2015? Which said that tardigrades can do this, which was immediately rebuked by 2 other papers who basically proved that in the original paper, they just polluted the sample, the gene sample they had.
They got some science wrong.
Well, basically, they can't do basic research on PubMed.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think that's why it isn't Star Trek. Like one core thing about Star Trek, I'm okay with that, but one core thing about Star Trek is believable pseudoscience. Did they have fungal spores, like fungal mycelia, that for some reason go through subspace through the whole universe?
The whole universe that had never ever mentioned.
And then somehow, if you put the spores in a room with a guy or a tardigrade, you can beam the whole ship to any place you want.
Yes, fucking kind of.
That's like Warhammer 40k
So,
level of science.
Yeah, I'm like, cool. If we're gonna let that fly, I will let literally anything fly. If I'm willing to accept that there's space mushrooms that can let you teleport across the universe,
It's very Doctor Who, isn't it?
Anything. Yeah, it kind of felt like a shitty Doctor Who book. So I've got some kind of like, more general, like I don't know, maybe kind of more general points in. Oh God, that sounded loud.
Yeah, sorry, that was the nuke hitting the mic.
Yeah, so initially, like in the first episode, there is so much kind of fucking pointless exposition of just like, Jesus Christ, you're having a normal.
Although that is very Star Trek.
Yeah, I'll give you it. But I was just like, oh my God, I want to watch this shit. But then you get them that they were actually walking in the shape of the Federation logo. I'm like, boom, yes, I'm in.
Yeah, that was
fantastic.
Good. That was good. That was fucking good.
You've got like there's some like really weird. I mean, I'm like becoming someone who doesn't care about continuity, but equally like also the Klingon fucking Type 7 destroyer or whatever fucking cruiser is just like wrong.
Bird of Prey's look like nothing
I'll accept
in Star Trek ever.
Bird of Prey's might look different. Like
they look the fucking same for 300 years in the prime continuity. They look literally that fucking, not the Bird of Prey, but like the K7 cruiser, whatever.
Yeah,
looks the same for 250 years.
Yeah. So the thing with the K7 cruiser is that like they clearly did enough research. Okay, there's this thing called a K7 cruiser, right? And then they just like ignore it, make something new, invent entirely new statistics about it, about how many people it has on the ship, and then call it the K7 cruiser.
Yeah.
When all they could have done was call it the K6 cruiser, something that has never existed in actual canon, and then it will be fine.
That's the whole show, isn't it? It's like, okay, Discovery kind of looks like a Star Trek ship, except the saucer section has like this separated discs which spin.
Yes,
when they go to like whatever fungal warp they have, are there people? Are there people in that spinning thing? Like the whole ship goes like a puzzle. It goes like a Rubik's Cube when it comes out of like. Does that actually happen? Are people dead because they're getting smushed on the walls? What's going on?
Yeah, that's kind of there's that kind of read an article but only read the headline and then based a TV show off it kind of thing. But I'm kind of like, that's fine. Like I'm letting Space Fungus go. So that's
but
cool.
it's still a good show. You know,
it's still a good show. Like, but there's like a weird kind of, they're going to space and they're exploring the universe and they're doing science and it's like clearly trying to be like a really high budget. Like you can aesthetically, it's very much like the same as the modern film, like the recent films. and it's got like very similar production values and like
Very high, yeah.
things look like they spunked £1 billion on it. Apart from the fact that they're going on adventures and exploring the same 4 corridors, like
and they're also not doing science. Which is
the
like
science they're doing is the fungal thing, and they're sort of down right now.
Yeah,
But
and when they analyze when Michael analyzes that source code, and it's like Windows driver code, obviously.
Yeah.
It's just like it says like something in the bloody fucking code.
It's like Win32 system calls or something.
.NET code.
But I'm kind of like, that's like that I would accept because that's kind of like a fun, that is like a fun intro. I'm like, if I was doing that, if I was doing the video production, I would.
But it's so on Star Trek. Like the thing they had in Star Trek when you could like later when they had higher resolution, you could zoom in and you saw that the doors, like the things said complete crap.
Yeah.
But they didn't know that you would see that. Here they know. They just don't give a crap. I don't.
Yes, there's that. It's kind of just like, and then they're like not being Star Trekky. They're not being the Federation. Like,
well, I got a different view on that because
like I get that it's like, man, we're at war. We got to do wartime things. So we're like doing all sorts of unethical things. But I'm also like, man, that's a bit weird. But I'm kind of okay with it because
actually that works.
Jason Isaacs is really kind of selling it.
Well,
it does feel
that actually works because you haven't seen the latest episode when they actually go on about the Prime, which is called the First Order, or I don't know.
Yeah, the Prime Directive isn't called the Prime Directive.
They actually go on about that, which isn't in TOS at the beginning as well. No, actually that works because in parallel, I'm currently watching TOS, and TOS is very un-Federation-y as well.
But like I get that, like, so yeah, like so it's chronologically it's close to TOS, but like that's not the Star Trek that anyone who is a fan of Star Trek really at this point grew up watching.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense. Like that's
but like that's not. It's not like an in-universe complaint that man they don't act like they do later on. It's that like that's not what Star Trek is to me. Like when I was a kid, I watched Star Trek. I watched like TNG.
I know
DS9
what you mean.
And Voyager, and like it's something like, oh man, it's okay if you watch TOS. It's like I've never watched TOS. I'm never watching TOS.
But
it's a load of TOS.
No, it's good, but it's just good. Different. No, it's bad, but it's, anyway,
it's good in a very.
But if you come from Enterprise, you know where it's going. If you think that Jonathan Archer is like the first president of the Federation, that's also where it's going. So let's talk about good things. I think Gabriel Walker is becoming, probably is now, my favorite Starfleet captain, which first was Picard, then it was Sisko, then it was Archer, and now I think it's Gabriel Walker. So when I heard that name, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. No Starfleet captain ever is going to be called Gabriel Walker. That sounds like a Space Marine captain.
But he's totally a space marine.
He is, which is amazing. He's great. Have you seen the Mud episode?
Yes.
So good when he goes, when they're like, he's like, we're at war. And they're like, no, but the Prime Directive says we have to check out this thing. Oh, well, go ahead. And in the latest episode, they're fighting like Klingons, and they're like completely overpowered. And he goes like he says to his officer, like his weapons officer, like, would somebody do me the favor to finally target this ship?
The Mud episode, right?
Oh, that's so good. That was good.
So torn because I watched it and I was like, oh, great. I love that episode. But they did a time loop episode in the first season.
It was so good. So here's how I watched it.
Like, you don't do time loop episodes in the first
We started watching it and they're at the party and I'm like, what kind of a fuck, what crap is this? Do they really want me to believe that 400 years in the future, they're listening to this fucking dubstep bullshit?
Oh, it's classical music, mate. It's fucking bar.
No, that was...
Skrillex is like, boom. In Skrillex.
I was like, this can't be, this is horrible.
Oh, right? There was this wonderful early 20th composer called Taylor Swift.
Oh my god! No!
Did you know that she felt 22?
So, and then there was like the love shit with Michael and Ash.
It's kind of cool.
It's horrible. I was like, this is horrible. And then Matt arrives, as spoilers, and he's got his fucking Ant-Man spacesuit helmet. How good was that?
Fucking
And
ridiculous.
then it's a time loop. He keeps doing everything again. It's like, Lorca, do you know how many times I had the pleasure to kill you? It's like, it's been 29 times. I can't come up with new ways to kill you. Even I'm getting bored. He's got the beard. It's so good. That episode was so fucking good. And the thing is, I've seen Matt's Women recently. It's like, that is the most sexist stunt. It's the most sexist TV I've seen in years. It's so bad. And they have actually managed to revive that character. Mm-hmm. And that they actually did manage to revive that is amazing. He was already good in the episode where he was in prison. But this episode, and then the line when Michael says, "You're mad." No, I'm mud. And then it even gets better because he is the new Q.
Yes.
Did you notice the line "Mon Capitan"?
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, oh fuck yes, so good.
Other things like I really like Stamets in that. Like, he's like a super cool, like just good character. I like him. He's got kind of motivations, like because like in that episode when he's kind of like wandering around being really weird, you're like, what the fuck is what the fuck? And then suddenly, like at the end, he's like, oh, it makes sense.
He's also a really good actor, isn't he?
He's super good. Like, yeah, he might be maybe my favorite character in it all.
Well, the whole fungal thing is absolute bullshit, as we've established.
But you do not get any semblance that he thinks it's ridiculous.
Well,
he's like one of the few people who's like properly selling the technobabble.
Oh yeah, and the whole idea that
I got a bit into one of the episodes, and I just had to stop because the technobabble was just like, nah. No, I can't handle this now. I've not had enough beers to be able to cope with this wank. And then, like, but he will sell it. And it's like, yeah.
Well, the thing I like about, like, the good idea is also, like, your chief engineer is now the engine of the ship. I think that was the whole idea for the fungal bullshit, which is good. The one thing that kind of made me like, oh, my God, is, like, of course, yeah, he's gay. And I'm like, yeah, it was time for Star Trek to do this, but Star Trek used to be cutting edge, right? Mm-hmm. So Kirk and Uhura, like the first interracial kiss on television, that was like cutting edge. Having like a gay couple that's not progressive in 2017. I'm sorry.
I think it is, given literally the state of the world. It might not seem cutting edge to people who are like fairly liberal, but like to a lot of the audience, it's gonna be.
It's like come on, like, Hollywood has done this.
No. But say you go back in time and it's the first time you see the first interracial kiss on TV, right? And you're like someone who thinks, yeah, that's totally fine. There's no big deal here. But like it being a thing that it's just like, yeah, this is normal. Like it's good. Like
yeah, but really, to be on its game, Star Trek should have done this in the Voyager time frame.
Yeah, sure, it would have been better if they'd done it previously, but unfortunately, like, society is very keen on clinging on to its old beliefs, and we've got to slowly but surely kill the old people.
I hate you, man. I am an old people in my head.
Because if you're saying, okay, it shouldn't be an issue that there's like gay people on TV having a kiss, then just like, boom, yeah, cool, that's fine.
Well, the
like,
thing
it has to be represented.
The thing I really liked is he just sells it. Like I think the actor, what's his name?
Oh God, yeah, I'm terrible with names. I'm pleased that I remembered Stamets as his name.
I didn't remember that. That's like a weird name. Actor.
Anthony Rapp.
He's really good.
Yes.
I'm now very confused.
I had another thing.
No, wait. Wait. I'm now very confused.
Why?
Is his name, so the character's name is Paul Stamets,
Yeah.
according to Memory Alpha?
Yeah.
Because I just Googled his name,
Yeah.
and there's a website called Fungi Perfecti, fungi.com,
Oh, yeah. And there's this old guy with glasses and a beard.
makers of host defense mushrooms, which was founded by Paul Stamets.
Yeah. The beer is he researches bees as well. It seems too good to be true.
So he's a mushroom guy. They named this character after him.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's good. So, so he's a really good actor, and he sells that. It's really good. Okay, one more thing that I think is okay. This is like when I was this close from never watching Discovery again. Okay,
Whoa.
and you will completely disagree with me on that.
Is it the Spock bit?
No.
Oh.
What's no Spock bit? No. It's
like, oh, you're Spock's half
no,
sister.
yeah. I knew that. I knew that before. I did some research.
Yeah, but it's like
No. The bad thing was, I think this was Stamets. So he talks to his scientist talking. It's like, do you want to be forgotten by history, or do you want to be remembered alongside the great scientists? And he goes like, I don't know who the first one was, but it was basically like Charles Darwin, or like Albert Einstein or something like that.
Fair.
Elon Musk, Zephyr Cochrane. Elon fucking Musk!
Yes, I will give you that Elon Musk is not a scientist.
Elon Musk has invented nothing.
He has crazy ideas that he gives to other people.
I learned recently he hasn't even invented PayPal. That was another guy. He just sold it, and PayPal is shit. PayPal basically took the what little morality and consumer protection banks had out of money, and made it even worse. And then he has a car company that isn't selling any cars, that are shit cars. He has a rocket company whose rockets don't go anywhere, and Jeff Bezos, fucking Elon Musk!
No, I'm not saying, like, okay, the cars don't go anywhere.
Cars are shit!
But the rockets are very good.
They're not very...
The rockets are they are highly cost effective. They deployed 10 satellites the other day.
Oh my god, yes. The Russians been doing this since when?
Yeah, but, like, the Americans couldn't do it affordably at all.
He's not doing it affordably either. He's not making any money on the fucking rockets. He's literally burning dollars to get them into orbit.
Well, that's how getting into orbit works. It's very expensive.
NASA should be doing that. He's a fucking hack. Star Trek Discovery is gonna look so silly in 20 years. If somebody in 20 years watches this episode...
Star Trek 20 years ago looks so silly right now.
No, it doesn't. Like when they had TNG and Data was playing like poker with Einstein and Hawkings. That's how you do it. Hawkings! That's how you do it.
Yes, I will agree.
The fucking Hawk!
They could have picked a better scientist who is a scientist.
You can ask Katie, you can ask him when we watched this episode and I heard Elon Musk's name, I was crying out in pain. And she was just laughing because she knew what was going on. Hyperloop! Fucking how fast that thing? 20 kilometers an hour?
Nah, sorry. Hyperloop is like reasonable compared to his like latest tweet, which is like basically enough people to kind of like say, oh my god, Elon Musk's invented a thing. He basically wants to strap you into a giant egg and fire you in a missile across the ocean. He's fucking bonkers. It's like, yeah, he's like, on holiday, I had this like epiphany on like the difference between an engineer and an inventor. And inventors invent things, like they build things, okay? And they might like get other people to build them, but ultimately they kind of have an idea vaguely and they kind of get it to. Engineers do kind of the same thing, except they have a set of best practices. And Elon Musk is definitely on the inventor side of the scale of like, man, he just fucking tweets his ideas and then everyone's like, oh my god, he's gonna the brain,
and he looks like he's from the same race of Lovecraftian fish people that fucking Zuckerberg's from. Dude, if you want to name somebody in that line, do like Buckminster Fuller or somebody, right?
Or, I don't know.
Anybody, not fucking. Anyway, let's move on. This is not going anywhere.
This isn't going anywhere. Star Trek. We both surprisingly. I thought you were a lot more negative on it.
If you watch the latest episodes, you will see a whole planet that is a living organism, and it's got like a transmitter with like crystals. Looks very Stargate. But yeah, it's
thinking of Stargate, and they're kind of making the new one. They're making the new film.
What, they're making Stargate?
It's not like it's kind of like it's like a prequel to.
Huh?
Oh god, they've released some footage from like behind the scenes.
Oh my god, this doesn't sound good.
They look really keen about it. Like,
does it have Kurt Russell?
No.
Richard Dean Anderson?
No. Like, it's called Stargate Origins. It's kind of
it's called Stargate Origins,
and it's gonna do the thing where prequels fuck it up because they obviously fucking will. But like, if there's more Stargate, I'm happy because Stargate's better than Star Trek.
Well, no, Star Trek's great. Discovery's great, except this. It's not like it's not Star Trek, but I'm okay with it. I think that's my. It's just not like it doesn't have the science thing. It's just, but it's good TV, and I want more Mud, and I'm happy. He's great.
Yeah, and they've renewed it for a second season.
They have. Oh, good.
Yeah, which good. Is I believe they did. Let's double check that before I sparrow.
No, yeah. No. I think you're right. I actually heard about that.
Which is nice. It kind of like puts all the kind of conspiracy theory.
Okay.
To bed.
More controversial things. Breaking news.
I've just seen you adding it to the notes.
We've been doing the show. Fuck, the world has ended. We are all going to die, and it's not Donald Trump's fault.
It's not Brexit.
Twitter is going to 280 characters. This is going to destroy Twitter.
I've got a different idea, right? I think there should be some too long didn't read version of Twitter. Where
it's just 140
characters is too many characters. I want to get the point across more concisely in a shareable form. I call it 140 characters. This is fucking bullshit.
It's called TLD Twitter.
140 characters was fine. 280 doesn't solve any problems. I'm still going to write things that I should write as a blog post across 40 tweets. Except that's going to be over 20.
The bullshit they came up with like, oh yeah, it's different languages. In the Chinese, they can write longer things because they only need like 2 characters for a word. Oh, for fuck's sake!
Like, you can just, it's rubbish. It's naff.
The only thing that makes like the RT accounts that live tweet the Russian Revolution as it's going on great is that they have to put fucking Lenin into 140 characters, and let me tell you, Lenin doesn't lend itself to putting in 140 characters. Stalin, yes, Stalin was very concise. Lenin, not so much. And Trotsky, forget it. Trotsky is like 140 words each utterance. It's like, oh god.
So that's it. The world's over.
Well, Twitter's fucked.
We should probably get to some feedback while it's still in.
On Twitter,
rather than 280. We're gonna have to move to Mastodon, Fab. We're gonna have to.
Oh god, is that metal? Oh, Creator is going on tour with Sabaton in the American, like on the upcoming American tour. Creator from Essen, love them. They're great.
Ooh, yeah.
Anyway, Mastodon. Yeah.
That
Twitter. Bazawil says. At Fabsh, at Mega Slippers, at Geek News Radio. Fuck you and your decent internet. This is my 100 Mbps HFC NBN. I don't know what that is. Connection.
NBN's the company it's from.
At Fabsh, enjoy before. So what country is that?
It's Australia, isn't it? NBN are the kind of big media company in Australia, aren't they?
No, that's Telstra.
Yeah, they're totally
but he is in Australia, so yeah. It actually says
NBN, the National Broadcasting
Telstra Brisbane.
Open Access Data Network. Boom.
That is the ping, 126 milliseconds.
That's my! Like that's maybe the worst part of it is that's like
4 megabits upload is actually okay, but
this is a kind of very weird situation. Okay, in the UK we're kind of used to like you get uploads that are about 1/10 of your downloads, and this is like whoa, it's got like over twice your downloads here.
It's got like 2 megabits down and 5 up. That's weird.
Yeah, I mean that's shit. Get better ping.
But as I pointed out, he's got better weather, so yeah.
That's true. I mean, just go outside.
And Brisbane is amazing.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. And then we had Khalifa @_Khalifa_ replying to us about Holden. We were talking about The Expanse, and she says, and this cannot be unseen, I warn you, because she's provided very good pictures. She's saying Holden is totally Jon Snow from Game of Thrones, and they even cast an actor that totally looks like him. Both are fucking annoying.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to agree with her.
Yeah, but it's true.
But I think she is right. Like if Holden's hair is
but I like Jon Snow. I agree with him.
I like Holden. It's just like
I don't like Holden, and I don't agree with him. I think
he's got the exact same look on his face in those pictures.
Man, I got bigger shit to deal with right now. Yeah.
It's like, I'm crying, but I'm also not crying. Which is exquisite when framed in this Twitter page with Khalifa's avatar. She's like, I can't deal with this shit.
Yeah. It's some sort of triptych. It's good shit.
That's good.
We got a tweet from Mike. Basically saying, when's the next 4 for Heldren update? I need a goal to avoid change.
Yeah, fuck you.
We are attempting to organise a lovely podcast where we talk about Warhammer.
Yeah.
And I will endeavour to have read Ruinstorm by that point so I can spoil where the Ultramarines were during the Siege of Terror.
But it might be in December.
It probably will be. It'll probably be like the last one of the kind of year in terms of the commitments.
Yeah, so I think we actually wanted to end in December, didn't we?
Yeah.
This is not going to happen. If only for the reason that one of us has to win. At this point, as you see by this tweet, literally Nicholas is going to win.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance he will, because he's got
like a full squad of
lots of lads.
So, as far as I can tell, I haven't done anything. You haven't done anything. Mike has done a bit, and Joe has done a lot, but nothing for his commitment. He's like painting all this other shit.
If you're not on the Discord, you should get on the Discord. Get to see Joe's amazing things that aren't his. He's been working his way through an Eldar commission. And man, it's good. It's looking hot.
I haven't been on the Discord, but
he's done a tank. I can't remember what the name of the tank is, and he's done like the flyer, the raptor kind of
the
flyer.
The Doomhammer?
Oh god, I don't remember what any of the Eldar things are called.
Eldar.
Elf boy flyer.
Flying
shit.
Eagle burning.
He's been doing some of that, and it looks fucking amazing. Also, he's been painting about 100 gemstones per miniature.
Oh that. Yep.
Amazing. So yeah, get on the Discord.
I'm now on a Ratsherrn Pilsner, by the way.
I've just got moved to just neat bourbon. Because I'm great.
just Jim Beam.
Just Jim Beam, because I'm a classy bastard.
I wonder if Tom does that at some point. Just goes straight.
I bet they do, because they definitely do kind of lose it towards the end.
Yeah, they do.
Like I'm well on the way.
I know how that feels. We need to write in and ask them if they just...
Yeah. You put in a tweet that was from me. Basically, during the time off, I discovered exactly how bad I am at Twitter. And I just reply to people from the Geek News Radio account all the time. So Joe was talking about basing with cork. And then someone called Dave, Nerodyne, talks about like using super glue to glue it, maybe some pinning. Joe says, that's great. This is the lovely little bit of Twitter like, back and forth, and then I just barrel in with the Geek News Radio account saying, that's what I did with my Stormcast Boy 02. And then I just reply from my account saying, I meant to tweet that from here. Because I'm fucking inept.
I like it. And you might notice that 280 characters is not going to fix that.
No, exactly.
Also, all that feedback we got was very concise, and it was...
That's because Shah has beat it into people that you give us feedback by Twitter, or we don't read it out.
Oh, when she's back from holiday, we'll have to have her on. Obviously.
I'll have to play more Divinity, because, Jesus, I got scared by that game.
Me too. But then we have to ask her what she thinks about the new character. There might be some wrath.
Maybe.
Wrath.
Speaking of not reading out feedback, unless it's... Did get an email.
Oh, no. What's the other email? There was another email in the notes.
I pulled that because I think we covered it last time.
Oh, okay.
I can't do it.
It's been censored.
But it's from...
Censorship!
I'm sorry. It's not censorship if you do it to your own podcast. That's not how censorship works. Like, if Theresa May kicked my door down and said, you can't read out that email, that would be censorship. Me saying, oh no, I goofed, is not censorship.
Dave, are you a Bolshevik? You sound exactly like Stalin right now.
There's one rule for everyone else and a rule for me. No, so it's from Matt Ivy, and it's my 1+X kind of shenanigans. Matt says, I bought a 1+X based on your positive remarks on the show when you purchased it. I really like the phone. I've had the same complaints as you do about updates. In frustration, I finally installed the most recent nightly build of Lineage OS for the 1+X. It's called Onyx in the list of things that are supported. It works perfectly. I've yet to experience any of the problems and random reboots, and they've completely disappeared. It's quicker and much more responsive, so don't be afraid to flash Lineage OS. It was worth the trouble for me to do it. Also, I know you chastised the idea, but I left out the GApps package and only used F-Droid. Things work better for me now. I mostly know where my data is going. I say mostly because obviously carriers and various networks have some ability to collect data, and that can only be mitigated to a certain degree. All the same, I suspect you'll like the device better with Lineage OS, whether you install GApps or not. So Ack, sort of friend of the show, sort of Linux lug radio guy, flashed Lineage OS today.
Of course he did.
He's got 1+X as well. And I kind of thought about it, but do you know how I solved the problem?
No.
I bought a Pixel 2.
Oh yeah, I was going to mention that. Is that a phone?
It is a phone.
I've been offline for a while.
I did. It's really good.
Let me see what it looks like.
It looks like all phones. It looks a lot like a black bit of glass.
It doesn't look like the iPhone X. It just looks like a...
It's just a phone. I will...
Unlike the iPhone X, which is...
I'm going to talk more about it later, because I kind of want a little bit more time to kind of work out what bits I like because they're cool.
How long did you have your previous phone?
Just shy of 2 years.
Okay, that's okay. I feel like I think you said that before. Like I've asked you before, and I felt like you had it just for a year.
You cut out there.
So I said I felt like you had just had it for a year, but I think I was wrong.
No, I had it. Yeah, I had it for 2 years. And then this is going to supposedly get software updates for 3 years because basically the Wi-Fi thing happened. Because on the previous episode, you kind of talked me out of it, being like, nah, it's kind of fine that you don't get updates. And there's all of Wi-Fi's broken. I'm like, okay, cool.
But it's fine. My Wi-Fi is broken. Nothing has happened.
Yeah, but what if I just didn't have a Wi-Fi that was broken?
Is this phone fucking huge or just the hands of the people reviewing it really small?
So it is like a millimeter or two bigger than the 1+X. So it's actually quite small for a device. It's much smaller than the XL.
Okay.
But I'll probably talk about that later. In terms of Lineage OS, though, now I've got a spare 1+X. I'm going to give it a flash of Lineage because, people do say it's kind of good. I'd kind of like to try it out and see how it is. Because if there are the kind of newer features, some of those are really nice and I'm kind of really enjoying those. So if you can get those
cut out
devices,
this is going to shit. Newer features, what?
Newer features of Android. If Lineage OS has the newer features.
Are there any new features on Android? Is there anything new?
What have we got? I kind of the geofencing stuff is kind of cool. I'm giving that kind of go. I really like the split screen thing. I kind of used like I've been using.
I have that. How do you turn that on?
So I think it's on by default. If you hold the square button on the right in your kind of dock weird, home back.
Yeah.
Apps thing. If you hold that down, go into any app, hold that down.
I need to go into an app. My phone's really slow these days. It loads.
It'll then take the current app, make that half screen.
Wait. Okay. Now I hold the square.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, and then you pick whatever's going to be the second one.
Yeah, it's the Stalin. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. And then you can kind of like press. Then you can. What can you do? Somehow you get out of it. You then press the square button again. No shit. What?
Oh, app does not support split screen.
So that's the thing. Only. What? Wait, what app are you using that doesn't support split screen?
Either Spotify or Kindle.
It's probably Kindle actually. Okay. I'm pretty sure I've used
Spotify. Okay.
I've now kind of got it stuck in. Oh, okay. There we go.
I don't have another app. WhatsApp maybe. Oh yeah,
Yeah. What? So I kind of make. Spotify works.
That is confusing. Now I have two
Spotify
apps open. I've never used this before.
It's really kind of so. I find it most useful. So you can kind of like full screen a YouTube video and then still be on Twitter at the same time. It's the most pointless thing if you think about
what I can do now is I can have YouTube running.
Yeah.
And then on the other window I can have like uke tabs because I need to learn I need to learn Carolus Rex.
You do?
Okay,
actual use case. Well done, Android. That's really good, actually.
See, no, I wasn't the wrong chords, but like on a uke, that would be great.
Yeah.
I need to learn that till next year when we see 7 again.
Yeah. Take it to the gig and play it along. Yeah, I'm going to give Lineage a go because I've got like...
This is weird. This is like a tiny window manager.
Yeah, it's kind of strange in that it definitely works. I feel a lot better on the Pixel C on the tablet.
Yeah, there's not enough real estate here, really.
But yeah, for some things it kind of works. I'll give Lineage a go because I was kind of like, I was thinking about it. That's the thing. I was thinking like, oh, what if Lineage fix the problem? But I'm always kind of scared with like, I've got like quite a lot of 2-factor authentication stuff on my phone, like 3 providers of it, and that like I kind of need them all.
So that's Google, Steam.
No, I've got the one we use for work.
Right.
Yeah, actually I've got 4. So Steam, Google, all the things that hang off the Google one, because like you can put like Dropbox and stuff in there. The one for work, and then the BattleNet one as well.
Of course.
And then if you lock yourself out of them, it's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But now I've kind of moved them all over. Like I can kind of play with it as I want. Yeah, that's all the feedback. So it's like a 2-hour show.
Love this instrument. So good.
We've got like musical accompaniment. Like this is a thing that like I remember happening to Dan. Like,
yeah, except you could actually do it.
Yeah. Well, now I've got you with the ukulele. Every time we'll have like improvements.
To the sky, see Carolus rise.
If you would like to give Fab feedback on his uke skills,
oh god,
you can stick him up your butt. But if you want like serious
Twitter,
feedback, send them to him on Twitter with 280 characters. Collectively, we're at Geek News Radio. Individually, I'm Mega Slippers.
I'm Fabsh, Fabsh, Foxtrot Alpha Bravo, Sierra Hotel. But be aware, I'll pipe Twitter through a special Linux command line thing that probably grabbed. That'll just cut everything off. That's after
fantastic
140 characters.
If you have something that won't fit in 280 characters, you can email them to GNR@sixgun.org because email is apparently still a thing. If you want kind of more instant responses, we've got Discord, which is great. We chat about like the Nintendo Switch and post photos of things we're painting, the Expanse. People talk about Sabaton all the time. It's good. It's good. Like genuinely, the Discord's great fun. And YouTube, when we post videos, we put them there. The link to that will be in the show notes. It's youtube.com/sixguntv. Actually, it's quite catchy.
It is. kind of works. That was a show.
That was a show.
It kind of did work in the end, didn't it?
Yeah, despite power and kind of temperamental connection.
Alcohol. I think alcohol's the key. Rum's the power. Rum's the key.
I think I hit the peak like a little bit too early.
Peak alcohol.
I tried to read things and it went badly.
Well, that's how it must be. Why can't they have lots of problems on Crate and Crowbar, but they can always read.
Yeah.
Why is that?
They'll like laugh about things ridiculously because they're all very, but they can still read things.
They have different problems, like mic booms that move, and Pim has to slide down, and I'd say this, and my mic boom goes.
Yeah,
hey, why?
I kind of suspect that they read the questions when they're sober, and then.
Do you think they're faking it?
No, I think they kind of pre-record. That's what I'd do. If I was sensible and just wanted to do loads of editing, you'd record yourself reading the question correctly once and then splice it in.
But okay. But while drunk still.
Yeah.
Because they were a bit drunk. There was this one episode where they were the best episode ever. I can't remember which it was, but they were really, really drunk at the end.
Was it episode 200? Because that was great. I really liked it.
I don't know. It dragged out for ages.
I think it might be 200.
They were really drunk.
Sounds like an episode of our show.
Yes. So let's wrap this up. We'll be releasing a lot of shows now because we have to
catch up to get the average. Yeah,
make up for October, and we'll try. So
drive those metrics.
Yep.
Like and subscribe. Rate us 5 stars on iTunes. It really helps. What other things?
Can you do that? I think you can. Yeah.
Probably can. Buy a Casper mattress.
What?
Something about Blue Apron. But realistically, get your server hosting from
Bytemark.
Yeah, exactly. Boom. Brought to you by Bytemark.
I'm waiting for your signature sign off.
Oh yeah, Hack the Planet. Jesus, I forgot that.
Bula.
That's a new one.
They say that on Fiji it means live, but it also means welcome. It means be happy that you're alive.
We should start a Linux distribution called Bula.
Oh, that would be good. With like palm trees as the logo. It's that I've actually embraced that, and it's very unfab. So whenever I'm depressed, whenever I feel bad, whenever I'm angry, whenever I hate things, I think Bula, which means, be happy.
Don't worry.
Life's good.
Be the capybara you want to see in the world.